Well, so gonna do at least a couple more videos today. One is going now. What's going on here is that sometime in the past few days, I don't know exactly when, nor do I actually really care. Um, the state party, the Idaho Republican Party, dropped the two committee packets that are going to be at the state meetings in Chalice. One is resolutions, the other is rules. They have to do with internal party matters mostly, and so they dropped them, and I've been looking through the rule. I'm going to do the rule change one right now, and the resolutions one later. We'll be going over that and what I think. Now, please be aware. I'm a little bit annoyed that I have to specify this, but okay. I am not an unbiased source. I'm me. So you're getting things now. You'll get the actual letter of what something says here up on the screen with me, but anything I have to say about it, it comes from me. It doesn't come from anyone else. It comes from me. It's literally just coming out of my mouth. So anyway, let's see if I can transition over to... No, hold up. Technical difficulties, and I can't pause the recording because OBS isn't built like that. Here we go. This is the packet for the Rules Committee for the 2023 summer meeting. It has some good people at leadership on here. Brent Reagan, good people. Vice Chair. Oh yeah, I remember who that is. And Michelle Hamilton, good, solid one. And yeah, I remember who he is. Now here's now I'm not going to stop exactly on who's on the committee, but I recognize some good names in there, a couple of bad ones. But Region 4 is definitely well represented here. Kim Kaler, my district chair, she's a good one. Mark Johnson, a one that has always come with he's always been unafraid to tell me no and have a good reason why. So I think he will be good in this, good and judicious in this one. Now here's a few of them. I know that there's a couple missing from this list. Don't know what happened to them, so I'm not going to say exactly what they are or why I know about them, etc. But there's amending Article 2, Section 2. That's the one having to do with the Executive Committee, if I remember right. Platform enforcement. We've been looking to do something like this for quite some time. The failures of such efforts are too long and storied to actually include. Changing for rules of nominating, and I'm very curious as to what they're getting at here. And presidential preference convention, that's an interesting wording. I wonder what they're up to there. Proxy voting, I think I know which ones these are, but we'll get to them, and yeah, I have some things to say. Proposed rule to amend Article 12. Article 12 is the judicial process, internally in the party. This looks familiar right here. Let's see if I can. Oh, I don't know if that's scrolled up enough. But oh yeah, it looks like I am. Okay, so that looks familiar. Proposed code change to Idaho Code 502 and 503. Now, what's going on with that? The Rules Committee at the State Central Committee meeting can't can't change Idaho code. And if you're looking to support change in the law, that would more befit a resolution. So I want to know what's going on there. Let's see, another one, some perfunctory stuff. Sunset. Okay, so some of the bad stuff, did make it through, and that was part of the strategy at that meeting. Is that we were trying to just simply get through the meeting, and it would be hypocritical for us if we just ended the meeting early. Jacob Clough. Yeah, we don't try to tear down the business of others. So we'll see, kind of. Here's another one of the bad rules that came out of there: the credit for donors, and yeah, you're trying to get credit there for work you didn't do. Proposed change to Article 4, and I think that has to do with the district and county central committee. So we'll see what's going on there. I am recording right now, right? Yes, I am recording. Odd and even. Okay, yeah, it's another one of the bad rules. Consent of the membership rule. Weird title. I wonder what that is and who it's from. This should absolutely be a thing if the title reflects the contents. IDGOP rule to review submissions in order of receipt. And it looks like the same one for the last. Okay, so that's the list of them. I'm not going to read them all out because that would take forever. But here, let's see if we can just... no, it's not going to just... All right. So, Shoshone County Republican, presented by Phil Hart. I know who that is. And, that cool dude from when I went up to Kootenai County. All right. Oh, they're starting this fight again. Oh, they're okay. Oh, this might no. Okay, well, yeah, they're starting the whole removing people from the voting from their voting status on the executive board, and that's a whole fight that's been going on for a while. But I haven't spoken much about it. However, I am very well allied with a lot of people that are very much for this kind of thing, and they've got good reason for it, especially with these two. I'll just say that. And of course, there's some already non-voting ones like immediate pass and blah 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 blah, and those have very similar reasons for being non-voting as they want to make those. So that'll be an interesting one to fight. Now, this is not scrolling consistently. I do apologize. I think I'll just have to do this with the arrow keys, like it's the 80s. Platform enforcement. Okay, submitted by Harry Heath. Oh, okay. Harry Heath's a friend. He's a good dude. Yeah, from a lot of the Benoit and a lot of North Idaho people up here. Approved by Rules Committee. Oh, okay, so this is just from before. And this is strange how they're putting in the whereas clauses before a rule change. That's not generally a thing. All right, Article 19. Is there an Article 19 already? They might need to move they might need to move the numbers around, but that will be a clerical issue. The right of is a private organization. Beneficial to make a plan once elected without have at times. This is still written like a resolution. This is weird. Essentially, are hereby empowered. Okay, so finally we get into some actual rule stuff in here. Hereby empowered to call into question the Republican give fair consideration and determine if substantive violations, provide censure and guidance upon or any substantive violations. Oh. Okay, so we're finally trying to do something. I don't know if this will survive any kind of legal challenges. I kind of hope it does, though, because the R, we need it to act, next to somebody's name. We need it to mean something, or else Idaho will flip blue pretty quickly, because we're kind of already headed that direction. Idaho Republican State by petition to the state chair from so many. Oh, so they're putting in a procedure for doing similar stuff to federal stuff. So that's interesting. All right. A county central committee. Okay. Well, they're trying. Let's see where this goes. So I'm a big believer in the platform and sticking to the ideas of which can actually be defined as Republican. Now, it is entirely. It's okay if you stray a little bit from that. I mean, not only are we all people, but we are all people with our own, with our own ideas and how we feel about things, and so, you can, and plus, it's just simply going to be impossible for complete 100% adherence to the Republican platform. So, it's all right if you go a little bit away from it, but I think if the relevant committee in there says, well, you've gone a little bit too far from it, and now we have to do something, I think that should be a thing. Okay, you know what? I agree with this. I want to see the debate on it, though, but I agree with this rule. Oh, okay. Let's see. Okay. So this is stuff having to do with the caucus, and that's what they were getting at in the title. There's some stuff that's been going on recently with presidential primaries and May primaries and all that, and it got really screwed up in the State House this last legislative session, and it got that way without the legislature really bringing in any of the primary stakeholders either. They didn't even bring in Democrats. They definitely didn't bring in the Republican Party, and they just sort of winged it. So, and because they just winged it, we've got a mess, and this is more or less looking like a correction now. One thing that already has a tentative yes from me on this was the line that it's approved by the chair, Dorothy Moon, because the way that both resolutions and rule submissions work internally in the party is that they get submitted by a county committee, a district committee, a region committee, or the chair, the state chair. So she can do that all herself if she so chooses. And if she chose this just to do carte blanche on her own, well, I'm already inclined to approve it. Somebody is texting me right now. So, and I'm ignoring that. So, Okay, so this is stuff just having to run with the caucus. Now, I will be looking at it more. I'll be looking at it more intently later. But from what I am seeing right now and what I'm reading in this, is that it looks fine to me. So yeah, and the next one is submitted by Bjorn, but again has that name on it that I'm already has my approval now. Bjorn Handing, Region 1 Chair, one of the people I got to see while in northern Idaho, up in Kootenai County. He's a good friend, and you know what? If he wrote this, I'm already approving it, and apparently this has to do with the addition of what was talked about in the previous one, but they're just adding in that there's a meeting for these two separate things that are used to be kind of together, but now they're separately, and now they're kind of anyway. So yeah, I'm approving of this. Okay. Oh, this also has to do with the delegate selection rules in there. That's cool. Okay. So this has our say chairman. Okay, who's? Okay. Okay. So this is more of the same. All right, I get what they're going on here. So now Lynn and I have been in very opposite political factions here locally in Ada County. And not only that, but she has definitely worked with people that have done me wrong. However, in recent times, especially in the context of people banding together to undo a lot of the wrongs that are being done now, a lot of us are coming together, and Lynn has definitely been a lot kinder. And you know what? She has definitely been doing a lot of the right things to at least try to return Ada County Republicans to a more conservative and a more Republican enclave. So with that, so that's why that's there like that. Now, that's why I had to say. Anyway, so they're and not only that, but proxy voting has definitely been abused here in Ada County with the Ada County Republican Central Committee. There, and not only that, even if we knew that they weren't being abused, but we would still know that there's people with like 7 and 13 different proxies. That's a problem if that many people, per proxy holder aren't showing up. You need to show up and do the work, or you need to resign. We can't be playing these proxy games. Just saying. So blah 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 blah. And it also addresses okay. The actual rule says proxy rule. Okay. Having to do with Article 20. Okay. Yeah. I heard that something like this was coming down the pike, and looks like it's materialized. And I really wish we could get to the point where we could just simply elect to not have proxies in our rules. Okay. So this is what they're really getting at here. The appropriate article. Let's start at the beginning here. Article 20, Proxy Voting, Section 1, Proxy Rule. The Secretary of the appropriate Central Committee shall be solely responsible for determining the validity of a proxy. All proxies shall meet the following requirements. They shall be in writing. Okay, this is good stuff. The following in all cases within any Central Committee or Central Committee subcommittee under the Idaho Republican Party, proxies shall be prohibited when an electronic meeting option is made available by the chairman. Interesting. I hate electronic meetings personally, but okay. With the exception of reading chairs that no carry more than 3 proxies. Ah, they heard my story with this one. I know what happened there. Let me tell you a little story. There's a certain county county chairman, Director Miller, that shall remain nameless, who knew he was illegally carrying proxies at the 2021 summer meeting in Pocatello. He was made aware of this, continued to carry them, and then it was only upon the insistence that the rules be followed with the secretary and some other functionaries were those proxies taken away from him. His final number was 3. I know that's why that's there. Because there's 2 relevant rules to what my presence was there. See, the thing is that at the time I was Legislative District 17 Republican Vice Chairman, and my chairman had illegally given his proxy to the unnamed chairman, Victor Mueller. Now, this is wrong. Now, him carrying that proxy is wrong for a couple of reasons. One, I was present. The applicable rules say that a vice chairman a vice chairman disposes of the need to have a proxy. So, vice chairman overrides a proxy. Not only that, but a county chairman cannot carry a legislative district chairman's proxy. The only person who could have at that meeting was campaigning to be governor in North Idaho at the time. And that dude was third in a 2-man race. I know why that. So, yeah, this is very much a screw you, Victor thing. Very much a screw you, Victor thing. And it kind of and this whole thing is kind of returning things to back the way that they kind of were when people weren't abusing proxies. And so all proxies must be valid. Okay then. I approve of this. Now, proposed rule on proxy voting. Now, I wonder why this is separate, however, from the one because it mentions Article 20 specifically. The proposed Article 20 at least, presented by Legislative District 14. 14 is one of those ones that are inside of Ada County, of course. Steve Bender. Steve Bender's good people. He was initially allied with not good people. And through just the desire to do a good and complete job, those bad people started really hating on him. And a lot of the not so bad people we're seeing that he's just trying to do a good job and kind of warmed up to him, as it were. So it proposes a series of amendments to modify proxy voting, blah, 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 present news, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so wait, this is kind of the same? Was there some sort of... okay, well, this looks the same, just slightly different wording. Proxy rule, shall be responsible for Grant name. I wonder what the difference is and what will be worked out at the state meeting. That's interesting. This is all pretty much the same. It might even be the same, just in a different font. But yeah, it's the same 3 requirement. All proxies must be validated. I would very much like to see in either of these an allowance for the local committee to just simply eliminate proxies, though. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to be in the Rules Committee anyway for other reasons that might be very obvious here in a moment, but I want to see what goes on with that. Oh, something from Brent Regan. He's actually the chair of the Rules Committee, so he was probably going to have somebody else present this. But let's see. To assist in uniform, all decisions of any interpretation of a rule by the chairman or any committee shall be posted on the state party's website. The wording of this is a little off. It's kind of lazy, but I fully support what's going on here. Because too many times have the rules been bent to mean something else, or not even that, just bent enough to severely delay things. I mean, if you were there for the 2018 Convention Rules Committee, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Over an hour and a half was wasted on a question of who could actually present and talk because of a dude who knew what the rule interpretation should have been, but he tried making the argument for something else for the specific purpose of wasting the committee's time. That person shall remain nameless. Dan Cravens, but if you were there, you know. This one. This is what I was up in Kootenai County for. Now, this isn't just simply my rule change, because the decision to do, not only because of just simply the contents, but the decision to do something like this, many people were involved, not just from Ada County, but from all across the state. And Brent Regan was kind of one of those people, because he could be trusted with that kind of thing. So the first part of this, it subordinates the Section 3 of Article 2 of the Delegate Selection Rules. Oh, by the way, Delegate Selection Rules is the truncation of a much longer title, but really we should just simply be calling them the Delegate Selection Rules, and so that's why I refer to it that way. But yes, Section 3 of Article 2, the text of it is just subordinated into a subsection A, because that stuff should still be there. You know, not trying to do away with that stuff. We can fix any problems with that later. And you know exactly what I'm talking about if you went to the 2022 convention and saw my presentation. But anyway, and then puts in a subsection B. It says, neither the Republican state chairman nor the staff of the Republican state headquarters shall give any advisory mentioned in the now subsection A, or shall the county select any delegates or alternates. And that part right there, they can't even select them anyway, even if they did receive some kind of advisory, until the county in question has paid its membership dues or been granted a waiver as defined by Article 19 of the state rules. Now, the Article 19 of the state rules is literally just the article that defines all the state rules, and where we will be putting in some fixes. You might even see some of that. And of course, fixes some of the language that might conflict with that otherwise. in a later part of it, and shall not include in the roll, because you have to have the roll of all the delegates from which counties and LDs and whatnot, and shall not recall any of the counties that have unpaid dues from without a waiver from the executive committee. There, that part's fixed to be compatible with what we just put in, and the same for, well, largely the same for the proposed. I need to use the arrow keys, but I haven't used the arrow keys so much since I was gaming in the early 90s. The membership dues shall be appointed, blah blah blah. Now we're fixing the Article 19. The state party shall invoice each county on or okay, so it's giving a time in which the counties will definitely know how much they're supposed to be paying. And then some modified language for a little bit later. It says counties shall pay their annual membership due by December 1st of that year. And removing some of the delineation of odd and even, because that's just bad policy. Victor. The state party shall send a past due notice to anybody that hasn't paid. So I think that's totally reasonable. Now, the Section 6 that was causing so much problem, and rightfully so, at the winter meeting. It says right now, but we're planning to change. Section 6 counties that have unpaid membership dues shall be assessed a convention registration surcharge and equal blah 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 blah. Now, obviously, there's an obvious problem with that. And the reason how that even got there in the first place is another story having to do with the original author of the of the thing, and plus some things that Steve Bender had to do while at the general session and whatnot. So that's how that happened. We all know about it, and we're gonna be fixing it. And everybody's been everybody in the room knew that it was going to be fixed. So, and we replace it with a new Section 6. Counties that are unable to pay their membership dues may appeal the requirement for paying by petitioning in writing to the State Executive Committee for a waiver for the next convention. That's important, that the State Executive Committee, not just anyone, but them all together, and not just the chairman. That's placed in the proper. The petition must clearly state a financial hardship reason and explanation for not paying the county's membership dues. That's not my original wording, but it's more or less the same. Using the possessive with the apostrophe is kind of lazy English, but whatever. I'm more concerned with getting the rule passed than critiquing the actual language. Petition must clearly state a fund for not paying the county's membership dues. Petitions for a waiver must be submitted by a certain time in the even years. And because by then you would already know. And so this is kind of outside of the whole odd even year problem. Plus, March 31st of the even years is not even a month and a half before the primary directly preceding a state convention, because of how the math works. So that part, I actually left out timing in my original version. Timing, I think, I want to say it was one of the East Idaho people that was responsible for that one. Now, I might be wrong. The State Executive Committee shall notify the county of their decision to grant or not deny by the following April 30. So, yeah, not more than 3 weeks before the primary, you will be told if they decided to grant it or not. So everything's still pretty timely as far as all of that. Now, I've said a lot about what the situation is and what it's in response to. I don't think it's a mystery. I'm going to move on, but you know what? If you want to know, hit me up. If you email me, contact me, put in a comment or something. and we'll talk about it. Now, this one, as I commented on earlier, I don't know what it's actually getting at because the party itself can't actually change Idaho code. And if you want to be supporting a change to Idaho code, well, that would be a resolution. Whatever. Submitted by somebody, by Cassia County. Okay, so whereas an election is not final. And it's even written like a resolution here. Whereas an election is not final until after the vote has been canvassed. Some discussion for. Okay, so they're making a lot of case for why the change to Idaho code should be made, and I agree with it. But the Idaho Republican Party doesn't have the the state legislature does. So. This is inappropriate. I'm really sad to say. This should have been written as a resolution, and it really shouldn't, because we can't make a rule that the thing is, we can't even take the long way around it, where we make a rule saying that the legislators must vote for blah blah blah. Can't even do that for like a whole host of reasons. So I like what it's trying to do, but it's the wrong way, and it's inappropriate. I'm moving on before I get mad, because that's just simply not the right forum. Okay, so making language uniform regarding the rules of this will be modified in the center. Wonder why Mark is so concerned. Oh. I know why. I'm not going to rant too much about why and why I would know, but this is because of one of the bad things that Victor Miller's doing. This is pretty much that. Yeah, see, they're literally just putting in the word central because Victor Miller has pretty much at one time argued that legislative district committees should have less power because they don't have the word central in front of them. Even though in some of their bylaws they literally do. But you know what, whatever. Screw that dude. I know what's going on there. Okay. So rule proposal by one Don Retzlaff. It was put forward by Region 4. Just having to do with... this more or less only affects one county, Ada, but it has to do with if they choose to have an executive board, who is supposed to be on it. Because while the will of the Central Committee is actually quite clear on it, there's more than a majority. The numbers required to make the actual bylaw change is like less than a 10-person gap. And not only that, but we think some chicanery was going on with a lot of the proxies going back and forth, especially when we had Mr. Flappy Hands with a laser printer illegally plugged in to an outlet in the back of the commissioner's room, printing out proxy forms. When we had that kind of thing going on, there's something not right with proxies. Again. But we'll, okay, so the next one, endorsement, clarification, and parity. So my Valerie James, good people. She's good people. What they're having to do with endorsements may only be made by a vote of the entire body and available to all. Oh. This is to undo a lot of the really nasty crap that Victor et al. Have been doing in Ada County. This is primarily a thing having to do with Ada County again. where endorsements have been published that never were actually made. They say, "Oh, the Ada County Republican Central Committee endorses this person," when we never actually did. There was no vote. It wasn't even brought up. Nothing. There was this little subcommittee, kind of given the same power, but not really. And then they just came up with a list, and then they are directly telling the public, which that's not right. That is most certainly not appropriate, but it's happening anyway. So we need to make a stronger rule saying, hey, you can't do this crap. And so, yeah, a lot more of the same, saying legislative district, saying, hey, you know what, endorsements are supposed to work this way. Definitely not how you've been doing it. Okay. Let's see the next one. Okay. So this is a good friend, Brandon Durst, going on about this stuff again. Endorsements may only made with the entire body. Kind of the same thing as the last, as the one that was up there, but also just stuff that he's been removing of endorsements, especially after the primary, is a legally shaky thing. But I want to see what happens when we press the issue. So you know what, I'll give a tentative thumbs up on this one. Same thing with this, I imagine. Oh no, this is another proposed Article 20. So I think there will be a clerical change at some point. What's this having to do? Okay, so yeah, if we need to get at people who are not acting right. Yeah, I think that's just generally what this is procedures, whatnot. Okay, so this is one of the bad ones. So it looks like they got Kim Wickstrom to sponsor it, so that's kind of the rule is already on shaky ground there, especially in a statewide context. This is one of those rules that we're trying to act like it was separate ones, when really they were all just, it had a language that was interacting with each other, so it should have been just the same block, one block of text that was submitted, but I think they know it's not going to be popular, so they're trying to maximize their chances by splitting up the line items on it. Now this one, quite literally, just it says right here, no mandatory membership dues will be paid to the Idaho Republican State Party after the calendar year 2024. They're basically advocating for the end of funding for the state party. This will go down. It will probably go down in short order. Definitely won't make it out of the Rules Committee. And if for some weird reason it does, the State Central Committee itself, full body, is going to be extremely pissed and will lash out at Ada for it. We will all be lepers because of it. So that's that one. Okay, so this is the one of the bad ones that bad rules that came out that is basically attempting to take credit for work not actually done by the county fundraisers. Donations from the blah 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 apply. Yeah, we know that's going down. We know it's going down hard, and it's not just simply because of the name on it. But that doesn't exactly help either, Victor. But, yeah, I've said a lot about this one in other videos, so moving on. Something from Cassia County. The rule changed to Article 4 and Article 7. For all precinct committee, county center. Wait, what are they getting at here? All officers shall be elected by the precinct committeeman and committee when a meeting called by the committee shall be upon 7 days' notice. They're changing some of the numbers and a few of the details. Why? Okay, there's not even a listing of what they're getting at. If you'll excuse me for a moment, I am going to open up a new tab and look at Idaho Code 34. I want to say it's 505. I don't know up there. I don't know. Yeah, it's 34505, Powers and Duties of a County Central Committee. I think that's the one that. No. Okay. Right now, I'm currently in another window on the. Oh no, it shows that. Okay, county members office. Okay, well let's look at the actual law here because it might conflict with what. Show me within 10 days. 7 days notice. Now, does it give within 10 days? Legally shaky, but there isn't anything in the actual law that says against it. I'm guessing it's the same for all precinct community and community. Okay, now this is unnecessary because the I forget what part of the Idaho Code it says, but when anytime this was like back in the 70s or maybe even the 60s, where in the Idaho Code it says where it refers to a man, at least in the pronouns and whatnot, it will also mean a woman. So we don't need to be making needlessly pedantic changes like that, because we could take several years just doing that in the Idaho legislature. So yeah, I don't think that this is actually necessary. And looks like it's doing the same in the LD part of it, the Legislative District Committee part of it. Shall be elected. Yeah, this, I don't know what he's actually doing here. There might be a misunderstanding there. I'll just say that. I'm not against it, but I'll need to hear more of what's going on. So here's another one of the bad rules coming up. Here, I'll close the other tab. Make sure, okay, yeah, so this is one of the bad ones. Rule 2023-26. See, that's how things are actually numbered, Victor and Barrett. But, anyway. Membership dues, this is one of the credits. Yeah, see, and I had this whole rant about, but, basically if you're using quotation marks like this, you are being unclear, and you cannot be unclear in writing a state rule like this. Therefore, it should be going down just for that. But also, you're trying to you're trying to apply credit towards money spent, which should be spent anyway. So that's, and the thing is that in order to make the case for this, well, even with its problems, in order to make the case for this, you would need to say why we need to do this, even though virtually every other county has been doing fine with it otherwise. So, definite no for me. I've said a lot about it in other videos already. I don't exactly hide my opinions on it. So, we'll go to the next here. Let's see. They got Kim Wickstrom to do this one. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, this is the odd-even rule. I've already said exactly why it's bad in other ones, but it all boils down to, well, why don't other counties have a problem with this, with how things are done currently, and you just need to say a lot more as to the why. And I don't think that you'll be able to in just a simple presentation before the Rules Committee either, at least with this. No, I think this will go down. So next one, consent of the membership rule. I wonder what they're getting. Oh, it's Trent Clark. Okay, I'm not going to go over the reasons why, but in recent years I've seen a lot of reason why to not trust things coming from Trent Clark, and that kind of culminated in his behavior at the 2020 convention at the Rules Committee meeting. I'll just say that. Yeah, I was a resolutions it was resolutions committee, and I was a member. Especially with how that meeting ended. A new rule invoking the principle of consent of the membership. It's proposed that Article 9 of the rules will be amended by adding at the end the following new section. So he's actually doing the smart thing by saying, oh yeah, I'm actually adding a new section. I don't know what the number will be yet. Okay. Section whatever, consent to the membership, consistent with the time-honored constitutional principle of consent to the governed. Being unclear there, but okay, with the quotation, with the curious use of quotation marks there. But no power or authority to nominate, recommend, or put forward for election to public office may be presumed by elected officers or their designees without prior direct approval through a vote of the membership. Is he lashing out at his friends? That might be what's happening because there's a lot of establishment figures, especially a lot of establishment figures in highly contested LDs and counties that when they get elected, they very often act against the will of said committee. I mean, Ada is a prime example of this because Victor Miller has this idea that it's supposed to be a top-down rather than an actual Republican grassroots up. He is supposed, he commands instead of serves, and that's a problem. And that's a problem because good chairmen don't command; they serve. But Victor Miller commands; he doesn't serve, and that's kind of a problem if this goes through. So, but I'm really wondering what is motivating Trent to do this. I want to hear the presentation and the argument on this. Well, I'll move on. Okay, so here we have IDGOP Rule Committee to review submissions in order of receipt. This will cause things to be shorter and also longer at the same time. If I'm reading this right, let's see if I the reading. I imagine they're adding to the proper area of the rules. State Central Committee shall number the written rule submissions to reflect the date of receipt by the SEC in order of their receipt by. The committee shall review for action all rule submissions in the order as numbered. This rule. Oh, I know what he's doing. He's lashing out at Brent Regan for running a more efficient committee. That's basically what he's doing. Wow, this is petty. Wow. Wow. I'd vote this down just out of principle on that, but okay. Looks like the same for resolutions right here. I'd be voting that down just because, no. Is this the end? Okay, this is the end. I've been talking for about 53 minutes. About 51 of them I've been needing to pee. So I am going to stop here, and I'm probably going to be doing the resolutions one here in a moment. Maybe an update video. I don't know. Let me see. I'll transition here. And interesting packet to go through. The resolutions one is going to be longer, and I'll be doing that next. I wish you all well. You all have a good day.